Yo, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to AdamMcKola TV. Myself and D are back for another straight up MUFC, and those, my friend, are bars. What's going on, D?
Everything's good, man. Sun shining, weather sweet, and it like to be fair, I don't know if it's raining right now, and it's been raining the last couple of days, but bless, man. Chilling.
Yeah, it always looks like the sun shining here because I got that big old light in front of my face, but I know if I open the curtains, it's gloomy out there. Like,
nah, I've got my blinds down because the sun was revving this room, to be honest, but it looks all right, you know. Friday as well. It was bank holiday weekend, isn't it? Like,
oh yes, May bank holiday, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Obviously, I'm losing track of the days, to be honest. But
the only way I know what day it is when we're doing these kind of things. Like, that's what's helping me know what's going on right now. One of the things I wanted to chat about today on Straight Up MUFC was United's perfect transfer window. A lot of people have asked me for this in general, and I know we did that 3 in 3 out thing, but I just think it's good chat for us two to have as well. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Talk about who we think should be leaving and coming in realistically as well. So not like, oh, Messi and Ronaldo in and fucking Jones and Smalling out. Like, realistic, yeah?
Yeah.
You had a little think of it.
Yeah, nah. Obviously, it's one of them. It's a slightly different from obviously when we did that 3 in 3 out. Some of it may be similar, but I've got if this was Football Manager, or if, like I say, if I was in control of the team, this is who I'd be looking to ship out and who I'd be looking to bring in. So yeah, man, I'm ready, man.
All right. So Dean, you're director of football or manager. Let's start with outs first, because we'll leave the sexy stuff, the sexist ins for later in the video. Get that watch time up and that, yeah. But the outs in particular, I don't think there's going to be a whole host of outs. We've got a lot of players already out the door that we probably wouldn't. But who would be the first man that you would maybe sell in the summer transfer window?
The first person I'd get rid of, I don't know if he'd be sold, to be honest. The first person I'd get rid of is Lee Grant, tell you the truth. That's probably a shock to some people because people probably forget that we still actually have him. But he's just pointless, isn't it? Like, he doesn't obviously
beyond the third goalkeeper.
We've got. Well, you get rid of Lee Grant. There's Joel Pereira there. Like, even here, it's like if he's just gonna leave, innit? Like, Dean Henderson's on loan. Like, I wouldn't get rid of Sergio Romero. I know some people's arguing to get rid of De Gea and obviously bring back Henderson, but I'd get rid of. Well, if I could, I'd get Dean Henderson new contract, send him out on loan again, get rid of Lee Grant, keep Romero, keep Pereira out, or maybe send him on loan, and then keep De Gea and Romero's backup in it. But Phil Grant. I'm thinking of EastEnders. Gonna get flipping Peggy up in here or something. But, yeah, man, I'd get rid of Lee Grant straight away. Tell you the truth, he's just, like I say, he's pointless, man.
All right, I'll go with you there, and I think on my tier list video, I did put Lee Grant as the transfer out, and I put Joel Pereira as a squad player, simply because a lot of people said Joel Pereira did trash at Hearts, and that may be the case. But it just seemed talented to me, and I think like maybe being in Scotland and that wasn't for him. You know what I mean? And like just bring him back, even as third choice. If he gets a game in a cup or something, you can have a look at him, rather than just dispose of him ASAP. And maybe you can even get a transfer for him or something. I don't know. Whereas with Lee Grant, you're kind of just keeping a dead asset there. I suppose it helps though as well. He's probably earning like 30 bags a week and just don't.
Yeah, I think they can clearly afford him. But to me, like I said, we have got some decent young goalkeepers. So I don't know, really. I think you just need to. I know obviously people you want experience and that, but Romero's experience as backup, like it's a shame for him really, because a lot of people they talk about obviously like he's the best backup goalkeeper and all this. It's a shame he's not a number. He could be a number one, I think, definitely in the Premiership. For someone.
I just don't think he is a number one, to be honest.
I don't know. I think he gets it. I think he would outside the top. Well, I reckon he could push in some of the maybe tops. Well, saying that we're sick for, but like I think he could get a team outside the top 6-7 clubs. I reckon definitely and 100% start for me. But
yeah, I don't think for United.
Yeah, for United, he's decent, but because a lot of people talk about the amount of clean sheets he's had, but the games he plays in.
All right, so let's say Lee Grant's gone, and we've kind of promoted Joel Pereira to second/third goalkeeper. All right, that's by the by. No one cares about that. Who's the first player you let go up at the window?
Let go. Okay, Phil Jones is gone, mate. He's gone straight.
How much do you realistically think we could sell him for? And I agree with you. We don't really need to debate this one, but
I don't know, man. I think if Newcastle have got this Saudi money coming and if Bruce is still there, then I reckon they could offer 50 million for him. To be honest, but they could offer some stupid money on it. But I don't know. Like it's baffling.
There's your title for this video: 50 million for Phil Jones.
They're gonna give Pochettino 20 million a season. Yo, come scoop up Phil Jones, mate. Title winner in it. You know what I'm saying? They need foundations building over there. But
wouldn't be surprised to see if they got Pochettino. I know that's a long shot at the moment because still a lot of pieces have to fall into place for that to happen. But if they got Poch, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go after Smalling rather than Jones. Just because if you think about it, like a gateway to like being a top 6-7 team could possibly be having a player like Smalling in your defence, someone that's kind of experienced in being in and around the top 4.
Smalling will cost some dough though. Like he's had a decent season. Like to be honest,
you ain't getting 50 mil Phil Jones.
Yeah, man, 50 million is a bit steep to be honest. But
I reckon we'll get about 10, 15.
10 million.
What are you thinking more?
In this day and age, 100%.
Bro, he hasn't played for about. Remember, we bought him for 16 million. So even if we got 15 million for him, which I think is a push for someone he's probably on about 120 grand a week. So his wages are going to be relatively healthy wherever he moves. He's not played much football. I don't think you could demand a massive fee, especially when we only paid 16, 17 mil for it. I know that was a long time ago, but
that was based on potential at the time. I don't know. I just think, what does that money get you now? I mean, personally, I think anything with them kind of zeros on it, I'd snap your hand off for him. But like, I don't know. In this day and age, and like for a Premiership defender, you're gonna struggle. Like some of what the Championship players are going for now is a joke. So, but like I said, I'd get him out of there. Like I don't care how it happens. If we have to, obviously, you're not really going to want to release him, but because you're not going to want to pay him his wages. But he needs to go, man. He has to go in it.
Yeah, he has to go. I think it's best for all parties as well. I tried to get rid of him on Football Manager, couldn't do it.
Man said he tried. No one.
Bro, I tried, bro. Yeah. I ain't getting into one of them deals where I'm paying like some dickhead team's going to come and say, "Oh, here's 2 million for a 15 million." And you're going to pay most of his way. Oh, fuck off. I'm keeping him on my bench for that. So Jones and Lee Grant have gone. I can agree with Phil Jones. It'd be very disappointing. There's obviously a video of me out there calling him future United and England captain. I wasn't the only one that thought he had a bright future, but ultimately he's been a failure. Not a total failure. He's won a lot of trophies. He's won every trophy apart from the Champions League. And I'm sure he'll look back on his career with fondness, although a little bit of regret over injuries and stuff. So I think it's time for him to rebuild his career elsewhere. And hopefully that's this summer and we recoup a little bit of money for it.
Sure. So I need to be on the other end of when he does them mad faces when he's at another team, so I can actually embrace the laughter and stuff. But when he plays for United, it blows my head off, man. When he's doing these flipping, I don't know, these movie scenes and that with his face and that. So mad.
Who's next on the chopping block?
Well, you've mentioned Smalling, but Smalling's not actually on my list.
Smalling's on my list, and I'll tell you why.
He's on the list.
I'll tell you why, Lee. Smalling's on the list, and I need you to agree with me. Otherwise, he's not going to be on our outs, is he, at the end of this video? Smalling's on my list because you gain nothing by bringing him back in. I don't think we've learned anything new about Chris Smalling over there in Italy. He hasn't become a prime centre-back that we want him to be. Yes, he had a decent time for Man United. At times, he's won a few trophies. He's even been, very good in some big games at times. But ultimately, we've seen how good he is. And I think it's set up well for him at Roma to do well. He still can't pass the ball out from the back. And that's how we want to play. And I think I was at the City game with you when we kept trying to play out from the back with Phil Jones and Victor Lindelof. or Harry Maguire. Can you just imagine Chris Smalling being in that situation? I think, again, like with Phil Jones, it's best for both club and player for him to move on. And I think he's found a place. Unless, like he come Arsenal, Newcastle, I don't know, one of these teams coming through. I think he's found a place for him. And I think we could probably recoup 25 million for him. And I think that's probably be the biggest fee we'd get all summer unless we sell Paul Pogba. So I'd be all for United selling him, and I think he's a must to go. If he stays, we've got Axel, Bailly, Lindelof, and Maguire. Like, he's not, for me, he's not better than any of them.
Yeah, me personally, I'd keep him, because based on similarly what's happened this season in terms of if we kept Phil Jones, and obviously he's playing much, but for me he's better than Jones. I think even when we got rid of him, for me he was one of our, as much as I don't like how poor of a passer he is, he's defensively for me, he was probably our best defender.
He's very good aerially at times.
Yeah, 100% in the air. But for me, I just think, and again, it's like, looking at the list of the players I've got on this list as well, because there's a couple. I just think that you can't. There's never going to be this mass exodus and this mass overhaul. It's never, like, everyone romanticizes it, but it's never going to happen. I just think that a group of players, you can't let so many go at one time. And I'd like to say, for me, I'll be letting Phil Jones go instead of him. I think as backup, if he'd be happy to stay, and obviously he signed a contract before he left, I just think he'd just keep him.
I don't think he'd want to be backup now.
Yeah, that's true. But then if someone comes in with a dough, then I'd sell him. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just like,
I think someone is going to come in with the dough.
Oh yeah, if that happens, then fair play. If someone comes in and offers the dough for him,
have I got you to agree with me then?
Yeah, in a sense, I'll be open to, and if this was Football Manager, I'm open to offers in it.
So he's not listening.
I'm not putting him.
But there's an asking price there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So there's
I'm telling you, Dean, Roma have now told me 25 mil. I want Smalling.
For 30 million, he's all yours, mate. That's what I'd be saying. But I'd sell him in it for 30 mil. Then I'd be going. Okay, I'd be going looking elsewhere. But I wouldn't say, you're on a transfer list, so someone can come and get you for 15 million, 10 million.
I think we have put him in the transfer list. By loaning him. You don't loan a big man like that out unless his time's up. Do you know? It's same with Marcus Raul. You don't loan big man like that out unless it's done for you. So he's literally in the shop window. And with that being said, we can get 20 to 30 million for him.
Yeah, no.
That's the most you're going to get for any player unless you sell Pogba this window. So I
don't know. There's another person on this list, I reckon. Well,
all right. Tell me who. So far, on the chopping block is Phil Jones, Lee Grant, and Chris Smalling.
Yeah.
Who's next?
You just mentioned him. Rojo would go. He wasn't the man I was suggesting it would get over that much though. But I would let Rojo go. But I reckon
you get probably about 10 mil if you're lucky.
Nah. Yeah.
I think he's got a year left or something like that.
Okay, but I'd let him go. Maybe he's not defense. Well, left back up maybe, but he's not a centre back. I know that. So I'd get rid of him. I think with him, I think you kind of take what you can get for him. Like, I wouldn't be holding out for big dough for Rojo. I just want him. Nothing personal. I just want he can't be involved next season. So I'd let Rojo go. I agree with that.
Yeah. So we got Rojo on the list now. As much as I like him, mental bastard, we'll let him go. All right, fair. Who's next?
All right, I say he's on the list, but again, I'm open to offers. Diogo Dalot, yeah. If someone comes in with big dough, he's gone, mate.
See, I hear you, and I tell you why. Again, he's probably one of our most valuable transfers that we could make in terms of outs, apart from Paul Pogba. And you've got loads of players in his position. Yeah. Now, unless we considering loaning out Ethan Laird or something like, where we've loaned a few fullbacks out. So now we ain't even got Arcadia's youth players coming through that can cover. Unless that happened, I could potentially, because he's not taking that right back spot. You're not taking it. Unless Wan-Bissaka, touch what he doesn't, unless he gets injured for a mad time, you're not taking that spot. Left back doesn't look like he's taking that either. So I could possibly see that. But again, it depends on, I think Dalot would come down to like probably the last transfer make out because okay, we've made our deals now, but is there another one we can make happen? You know, one of them ones okay, does AdamMcKola want to come, or something like that? Okay, we can make that happen, but let's bring in that piece there. All right, let's do it. I could see that happening there, but I'm not sure. It depends on the ins. It totally depends on the ins.
Yeah, 100%. But for me, like I say, if an offer come in, I mean, for himself, I mean, Delo must look at it and think he's got a flipping uphill struggle with Wan-Bissaka right in front of him, innit? And like I say, he's obviously it's not like Wan-Bissaka's old or something. Wan-Bissaka's quite young also, so it's like Wan-Bissaka could hold down that position for a while.
Hopefully he does, but that's the fucked up thing for Diogo.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like even him, I think you'd be potentially looking to move elsewhere. Well, like you'd be looking for a good opportunity elsewhere if I was him, or if he's obviously I don't think you want to leave because of the prestige of United and stuff, but for your career, then I think you, like I say, if Jose, I said before on the other week, if Jose coming with 25-30 million, I'd snap his hand off, man.
Defo. We'll put him on the list, transfer list. We don't say he's definitely sold yet. We'll see what happens on the ins end. Apart from that, beyond that, Alexis Sanchez is a hopeful, isn't it? But is there anyone else outside of Alexis, Andreas, Jesse, on your list?
Well, Pereira's got to go, man. Like I was looking at the squad list, and I think the mad thing again, I think he's not long signed a new contract, isn't it? So, but to me, I think that kind of it kind of keeps some of his value there. But I'd get rid of him. To tell you the truth, it's nothing. He probably looks like a good lad and that, but you're not good enough, bro. And
I think he is a good lad, and I think he does. Like when he plays for Manchester United, he wants to play for United. He tries hard. He does all those basics, but his decision making is very poor, and it's frustrating because he's got quality in there somewhere. Like he can whip a ball. He can score a great goal. He can stick a cross on a sixpence, but his decision making is awful, and he doesn't do it enough when it matters. Maybe in pre-season he'll bust it off and he'll look great, but beyond that, it doesn't. And I think he's getting to the point now where your time's almost up. And this was probably the year for him. That year where we're in transition and, all right, you've got a chance now. Like, are you going to take it? Because, like, you could say McTominay had a chance like that. He kind of took it where then, all right, McTominay was poor. United probably get rid. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of the same with Andreas Pereira now. It's like, all right, what's going to happen here? But then I think he could even look at people like Luke Shaw and think, bro, how are you still here? And like, I ain't getting the chances like that. So it's a weird one.
Nah, but Ollie's give him a lot of chances. And like I said,
he has.
Game, he's a player who, again, this ain't everything, but he's one of them players where when you go to the ground, like when he gets the ball, it's like, like you've got the ball and it's like you're expecting something, but it don't happen. For me, I mean, like I say, technically he's quality in that, but for me, the one thing that gets me, you want too much time on the ball, bro, and you don't have it in this league. And I don't know. I think if he sped things up, then maybe things like it could have worked for him. But for me, he slows it down. And like I said, I'd get rid of him. Like I said, nothing personal with him. It'd be I don't wish bad on him or nothing, but I'd let him go.
I think he could do well somewhere as well, where there isn't as much pressure on him. Do you agree with me on Sanchez?
Yeah, Sanchez, I would. Sanchez, well, I don't know how you get rid of Sanchez because of the dough he's on, but like the dough he's on. If you can get him off the wage bill, you get rid of him, innit? But who's taking him in that? Like I'd have thought he just tore up the Italian.
We've been talking about Inter Miami recently because
Inter Miami.
He bought a property in Florida, and David Beckham's looking for a marquee player. So there's that possibility,
bro. Beckham needs to allow that, mate.
No, he doesn't. Don't tell him that, bro.
Bro, you can't.
We know Beckham watches the channel. Don't put him off as Alexis.
He's a shadow of his former self. You get me? Like, bloody hell, like.
He's a shadow of his former self, bro.
You can't build a new team on Alexis Sanchez, man.
He might find his mojo out there.
I don't know.
He's on the transfer list anyway.
Yeah.
So. Who's on our short list for bringing in? So on our transfer list,
just go back to this. So you say Jesse's not on the list, yeah.
So wait, let's go. Okay, we're gonna Lee Grant.
Because a lot of people. I
know. So Lee Grant, Marcus Rojo, Phil Jones, Chris Smalling, Diogo Dalot, and Alexis Sanchez and Andreas Pereira are on the transfer list. Possibly could leave. Who's the next one? You're saying Jesse Lingard
Well,
or nobody?
I'm just throwing that in there, and
I think Jesse Lingard could leave, but it wouldn't be one of them things that happens very late in any transfer window, and it'd be one of them things that would happen if boom, things start falling into place and Jesse starts thinking, I need to be first choice somewhere else. Because if he's second choice or he's just behind Bruno Fernandes and all them, man, I think he stays. If we bring in a Jack Grealish, Jadon Sancho, Pogba stays, I think even, you don't bring in Mino unless you're open to moving it anyway. So I think he could start to look for a move. And I think that's what will happen with Andreas as well. He'll dig his heels in because he wants to play for United and he'll stay for as long as possible. And then it may get to a point in the window where he has to have an honest, open discussion with the manager. And the manager probably says, well, you're not my first choice. And then they start thinking, all right, I'm going to put feelers out there and I could leave. And I think that is what will happen with Jesse. So I don't think he'll be on Ollie's transfer list. I don't think Ollie would necessarily want to get rid of him. But I do think he will look to probably build on his spot in the squad and maybe, which will reduce his game time and maybe make him think my future's elsewhere. So I don't think he will be on the transfer list. And he's not on mine because I think you could make him a good squad player if we have a very good first 11.
Yeah, well, again, like I said, mirroring what you've kind of said, I wouldn't get rid of him. However, looking at the players who I'd look to bring in, I just think that his game time will be very limited, and for a player who's, he's played a lot for us. He's an England international. Obviously, he's got his own brand and all this stuff. I can't see he's the type of player where we'll be happy to potentially just be continuously sitting on the bench where potentially you're not even the man we look to bring on, or you're not even in the match day squad, and then you're just sitting out. I don't
think he'd be open to that.
That's honestly, I just can't see. And it's like I said, the players who I'd look to bring in, 100% your position is going to be affected.
But then you've also got to look at this coronavirus thing is going to make a lot of clubs now not be in a position where they can probably spend. So are there going to be some clubs that would have been interested in that aren't interested in him and not anymore? Yeah. And maybe some footballers are now thinking, yo, my contract here is nice. Let me just stay here. We're hearing a lot about players whose contracts are coming to an end. But we're not hearing about those players that have got cushy contracts and that are probably thinking, yo, I don't want to leave this contract just yet because it's comfy. We need to move on to the ins anyway. But is Jesse on your transfer list then?
No, he's not on. He's not on there. He's not on there.
So the final transfer list: Lee Grant, Rojo Jones Smalling, Delo, Andreas, Alexis.
Maybe Ighalo was there, but obviously he's on loan. So
no. Ighalo's not there. We never agree on that. So let's move on from that. Think of the tease, Dean. Subscribe and click the like and the bell and all them things there, and it. Yeah, and subscribe to Straight Up as well. Follow Dean on Twitter. Right, we're gonna get into these ins now. This the fun part. We've got about 7 minutes to do this. Right, so let's do this because Steve's gonna get wound up in a bit. Right, ins. Who's first on your list, Dean?
Raul Jimenez for Wolves. Yeah, I knew man would be shocked at it, but you asked me who I would sign in it.
So Raul, you don't want Ighalo?
If someone offered me him or Raul Jimenez, I'd take Raul Jimenez, mate. Like I love Ighalo and I love what he's.
Does Raul Jimenez want to be backup?
Raul Jimenez is not backup to. He's not going to be backup to anyone, mate. Like.
He's starting
for me. Like I would. The mad thing is, again, I don't want to go on forever, but when Wolves first came up and Ruben Neves was the talk of the championship, I wanted to see him live. And when we played Wolves, I was watching Ruben Neves, but the player who stood out to me is Raul Jimenez. Every single time we played him since then, Raul Jimenez for me has been their best player, and everything what I see of him, I just think he's kind of an old school striker that leads the line, and I think that and he can bring man into the game, and I think if we had him as the pinnacle, as the man up top, I think we'd work well, you know, and especially with potentially the other people on the list. Like I think Raul Jimenez would work well.
See, this is where our lists are going to differ because I don't think it's realistic. One,
yeah.
I think he's a very good player. But I don't think Ollie would be in a position of to be looking to buy a number 9 that's going to become our first choice number 9, or expect to be our first choice number 9. And that's why I think Odion Ighalo is the perfect permanent signing as a backup striker. For the fact that he's happy to be backup, he offers us a different option. If Raul Jimenez was happy to be backup, well, you take him every single day of the week, in my opinion. Yeah. But he's also not good. He's better than backup. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think I want that front three of Jadon, Marshall, and Rashford. And if you get Raul Jimenez, you probably don't get that. So I'd go with Odion Ighalo. That's where our lists are going to differ.
Okay. Jimenez is quality. It's like what you say though. It's arguably not as realistic because Jimenez would cost a lot, and Wolves don't need to sell. Well, they're not one of the teams that have to sell. So that's the only thing. But it's to me, if I was director of football, like you say, that's who I'd be going for. To be honest, over for me, Ighalo. But like I said, I do want to see the same front three you've talked about. But I just think we get with injuries and stuff and the way the season works, and I just think you need more top level players, and Jimenez for me is that. But it would be hard to get hold of, to be honest.
Who was next on your list?
Jack Grealish.
Do you think we need to sell Pogba to see Jack Grealish arrive, or do you think Jack Grealish is a possibility without that?
No. I think Grealish, because of his versatility, I think he's someone we have to sign because I think he can play midfield. He can play all across the midfield. Can play, I'm gonna say all across the front three, but he could play wide left, wide right. This is one of these signings where I said I think we need a man like Grealish, but I think this would affect players like Lingard. If you sign him, like I think Grealish would offer us a lot, but I think it impacts, like I say, Lingard. I wouldn't, like I said, I'd keep it in my eyes. I'd keep Pogba and sign Grealish as well because I think. Like I say, we need versatility. We need players who can go past the man, and Pogba can do it. Bruno showed he can do it. If we had another like Grealish in there as well, I think we'd be dangerous. I think we need more. We need more goals on it. I think that's a lot of people. I know we've talked about getting rid of defenders, but I think we need more goals, and I think Grealish should help with that. That's why I kind of said Jimenez as well, but 100%, I think we need to get Grealish.
I want Jack Grealish at Manchester United. Because like for the whole last 12 months, I've been pretty sure that Pogba's going until now, where I kind of feel like he's probably going to stay now, and I'm happy about that. But like, it kind of makes me think, all right, Jack Grealish isn't going to happen now. I kind of have to look at it realistically. But I do think there's a slight chance we could still make it happen if the price was right, if the right things fell into place. I'd be all over that one. So yeah, Jack Grealish would be on any list for me to be bringing in at Manchester United for sure. Have we both got Jadon Sancho on our list? I'm hoping, right?
Yeah.
Bloody hell. The talk in Germany recently is that it's going to be number 7. Everything's lining up for that move to happen. It's just a matter of time. And when the transfer window opens, hopefully that's the case. But he's made for that number 7 shirt, I think. And Sancho, Marshall, Rashford, I think you could potentially have the best front three in the league if, obviously, they perform as you would hope them to. Why do you want Sancho?
Well, we need a right winger in it. I mean, he is tied in it. Like I've seen him play, and and obviously he's young. He's going to get better. Obviously United would want him because I think business wise, he's like the I think all young kids and stuff. Obviously, you got like Rashford there. You know who kids can aspire to be, and I think Sancho's the same as that. I think he'd be a marketing masterstroke for United if they sign him. He's already, like I say, he seems to have a big following now. Everyone loves him. He don't even play in this country, like. But like you say, I think if we had them 3 up front, I'm not gonna say at this point we'd have the best 3.
No, it wouldn't be the best 3 straight away. You can't be on City and Liverpool. But if they perform as we know they could, you could have 100-goal front 3 there. You know what I mean? There's no reason to say why they couldn't get 30-goal contributions from each of those players. So, yeah, man. Is there anyone else on your list? Because my list isn't that long.
There is. Well, I've got one more person on this list, isn't it? He happens to be a Bromley as well, also.
Oh shit!
Obviously, we've said Jack Grealish already, but I'd sign Jude Bellingham. I would. I've got quite a few pals who are blue noses, and a lot of them sing his praises, obviously through being season ticket holders.
Would you send him back there on loan or bring him straight into the team?
No. I'm not saying. I don't know if I don't think I'd be starting him, but from what I've seen, and I've had, again, I know it's a championship, but a lot of Blues fans who speak to me, they tell me he's bossing games, and I know it's a championship and that, but I just don't think I wouldn't send him back there. I'd make him let him train with top level players that we've got, see how he gets on, and then look to slowly.
Because you could introduce him into Matic's position, couldn't you? He plays a number of positions, but if you think of Matic isn't going to play every week, there's going to be opportunities opening up. He could play in the front three, could play in behind. Like, you would open up positions for him to play in. It worries me he's one of those players that plays in too many positions, so you kind of lose where he is. So I think he needs to pick a position soon and stick to it if he wants to be one of the best players. Because them man that just keep floating around in different spots. I think that's what happened to Timothy Fosu-Mensah. I think that's what's happened to Andreas Pereira in a way. They just they forget what they are. And I think it's easy for that to happen to players. You could get him cheap as well, probably now with all this situation going on. 20-30 mil. He's open to a move. I think with the Jadon Sancho money, Dortmund could probably pip us to him, which wouldn't surprise me. We could still probably see him end up at United down the road. But again, I think he'll be on the shortlist in the summer. And I don't disagree with that at all. Thomas Partey would also be on my shortlist. Whether we got him or not is another thing. If you sign Bellingham, you don't sign Partey. If you sign Partey, you probably don't sign Bellingham. But it would be either or with them as well. 42.5 million, you can't go wrong with that for Thomas Partey. So he for sure would be on my shortlist. But if we had to agree on anything, I agree with you, all of yours apart from Jimenez. It's the only one I can't agree on.
I love it.
I just don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think so, to be honest. But that's who I'd be.
And apart from West Brom, you're raiding every single Midlands club, bro. But you next Romain Sawyers.
He's decent, He's a
baller. He's a baller.
Decent shout, that is.
He's a baller. He is an absolute baller. He is. But that is the transfer list, the shopping list, the short list. The outs were, let's recap: Lee Grant, Sergio Romero, Phil Jones.
Sergio Romero staying, man. Sergio staying.
Oh shit! No, why did I say Sergio Romero? Lee Grant, Marcus
Jones.
Rojo. Sorry.
Yeah.
Phil Jones, Chris Smalling, Andreas Pereira.
Correct.
And Alexis Sanchez.
Diogo
Dalot.
Yeah, Alexis.
On the transfer list, and on the way in, possibly. Dean's got a shout for Raul, Jimenez, or Odion Ighalo. We're going to send that one to a vote because I think that's the only one we can't agree on. Then we got in there Jack Grealish, Jadon Sancho, and Jude Bellingham. Not a bad window, that at all.
I think if we sign them, like I said, and especially the way Ollie's looking, obviously he wants to make this young, hungry team. And like I say, if we had them players here, if we had Jude Bellingham, Sancho, Marshall, Rashford. Just looking at there's like half the team already, and then say if you put obviously Pogba in there as well, just half the team, young player wise, these players should be looking to dominate, for the next however many years, and that's what I hope in it. Jimenez, like you say, he's a bit maybe not, probably not, but the rest I'd be looking to grab all of them, to be honest.
There you have it, guys. Make sure you're subscribing to Straight Up. The link's in the description below. At Straight Up D on Twitter as well. Make sure you're following, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining, and all that good stuff. We're going to do a podcast for Straight Up next week as well. Thank you for 500 subscribers on the channel. We've now reached that target. Next stop, 1,000. So get doing that. Keep it like, comment, share, subscribe. Sorry, I had to cut this one short today. I've got to shoot with Steve right after this one. So we're going to get onto that. Dean, any final words, brother?
Nah, man. I want to see where's the Ighalo shirt, man? I need to see some people still rocking these and that. A
few people have bought them. There's a home and away one now. Few people have bought them, so we're going to get them out there. But yeah, man.
Okay, I need to get mine, man.
I'll send you one. You don't.
Respect on it.
Sick.